guys, so for today's video it's gonna be this drugstore prom makeup tutorial. 100% of the things are drugstore except for my brushes that I used, but you can use anything that you have at home. The palette that I used for my eyes today is the Milani Obsessions. Oh my god, it's getting dirty. This thing is a little bit more like on the pricey side for the drugstore. However, these shadows blend really nicely. And you get 12 shades in here. You get a black shade, you get some really good transition shades, you have a brow bone shade, and then you have like really nice pops of color that you can do for every day. So this is also a very good everyday wearable palette as well. The only thing that isn't drugstore are my eyebrows, but I did those off camera. Also, these nails are Casino Nights by KL Polish, and I feel like they're just so blingy. They're so great for prom. I did these myself and they're really easy to paint yourself because of the wand on it's like an ovally applicator. But anywho, if you guys want to see how I recreated how I would have done my prom makeup, then please keep on watching. I'm gonna prime my lids with the Age Rewind Concealer by Maybelline. This is in the shade Neutralizer, and this stuff is really good. The applicator is kind of weird, but it's okay, it doesn't really bug me. So just tapping and a little bit of dragging motions, but mainly just tapping because I didn't want to move the product around. Now I'm gonna set that down with this Wet n Wild Photofocus powder. This stuff is amazing. As our first crease shade, I'm gonna be dipping into this shade right here, Sweet as Honey. Just kind of lightly dusting it everywhere as our base color. And I'm holding my brush like farther away because the farther I hold the brush away, the lighter I hold it. And the lighter you hold the brush and the softer you kind of swish your brush back and forth, the softer the blend will be. And no, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm a preschool teacher, but I've learned a lot of things through the grapevine of YouTube and other talented makeup artists. So I'm just going to use that Sweet as Honey shade again, but on a different, little bit tinier brush, something like this. It's just stained. I haven't like deep cleaned them yet, but I've surface cleaned them, so don't worry. So first I'm just going to be stamping it right on the outer V here, because that's where I kind of want to focus it, start to deepen up that area, and then do the rocking motions. I am holding my brush a little bit closer this time, but I'm just changing the pressure up a little bit. Rocking back and forth, and then dragging it all the way into my inner tear duct. Okay, so I'm going to take this shade right here, Sands of Time. I'm just going to take that on my finger, my pinky finger. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to run it from my inner tear duct all the way over and swipe it over. Whoa! That is nice. We are doing the eyes first because of see, I have all this fallout here. It's best to do our eyes first so we can clean it up later. Going back into that Sweet as Honey shade, gonna deepen up the outer V and then take it into my crease a little bit. Just taking a brush now with no excess product on it and just gonna run it through the edges so that we don't have any harsh lines. I'm gonna take this chocolatey brown shade here. Brunettes have fun. Just gonna go like this. Boop, 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 boop. And then just tapping again right in that outer V and boop, boop, rock, rock, rock. Rock the boat. Let down, tap it over, rock the boat. A lot of times I do have to lean my head back and make sure I'm blended it because my eyes are a little bit hooded. So I've always had that problem. And then I'm just going to take that Sweet as Honey shade down here with that big fluffy brush. Then run that through everything, blend it all out. Sometimes I forget to hold it at the end, but it's a force of habit. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this gold shade right here. It's called Gold Getter. And then I'm just gonna pat it out with my other finger. Then I'm gonna take that champagne shade, Sands of Time, right here. Not flipping you off. And then I'm just kind of running it over the gold as well. Kind of to give it a nice gradient, going from pink champagne to gold. Whoa. And again, just patting that out with my finger with no product on it. Just right on the edges. And taking that pink shade right there, that champagne shade, Sands of Time. Now that that is all situated, we're gonna dip into this black shade, any fluffy crease brush, and then we're just gonna dip into it like 1, 2, 3. Tap it off And then we're just gonna stamp it. Easier if you kind of go downward like that too. And then we're just gonna wiggle. Then I'm wiping off the brush on the back of my hand, taking it through the edges. Don't worry if you make a mess, we are gonna use a makeup wipe to clean all this up. Just going into that original crease shade, Sweet as Honey, just dipping it and then tapping it off. I'm just gonna go over everything, all the edges, making sure not to really touch or disturb the shimmer in our inner tear duct. It's okay if you do though. If you do, just put more on and do it again. Just to deepen that up just a little bit more, I'm gonna take a flat definer like this and just tap it in there and keep it really, really nice and tight right there. Like a faux liner almost. Gonna take a fluffy brush, kind of go over everything again. Now I'm just gonna highlight my brow bone with this shade right here, which is Bear in Mind. And this is what we're gonna make it look like, kind of. So I'm just gonna kind of wrap this around my finger, clean up the fallout, and do this. Making sure I'm not taking off the tail of my brow or anything like that. Just gonna put on some mascara, the Lore'l Lash Voluminous Paradise. This stuff is amazing. It's gonna keep your lashes thick and full for the entire night, I promise. I do have to say, you need to like have an oil to take it off. It's hard to get off, but it will stay. Before we move on to the lower lash line, I'm going to move on to the face portion. I've already done my moisturizer, cleansing, exfoliating, all that. I'm gonna prime my face with the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer. This is a pretty good primer for luminization. However, if you're oily, I don't know if you would like this. This is a very, oh, that was way too much. Looks like I put on sunscreen everywhere. Okay, just gonna rub it in. Oh, I love this because it feels like rubbing satin on your skin. But the foundation I'm using is mainly, it's mainly good for everybody because even people with dry skin use it. And that is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation. And I'm using the shade 125, which is, it's a little dark for me. Got distracted, somebody commented on one of my videos. You guys are so sweet. I'm using a damp beauty sponge. I got this one at Ulta. It's the Morphe and Such sponge. I'm gonna drag it down, not too harshly. Treat your skin like a baby. Just gonna take this little flat edge here, especially so we don't mess up any of the shadow underneath. And oh, the perfect thing about it that's perfect for prom is that it doesn't have any SPF in it, so it will not have flashback. None of the products that I've chosen have flashback in it, so you're good to go on that. For concealer today, I was gonna mix these two, but we don't need to do that. So I'm just gonna go for this one right here, the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer, the one that we used to prime our eyes. Just gonna make these little weirdo shapes and make a little halo, maybe looking like an alien. And then my chin, these problem areas, kind of down here. I do it on my smile lines. I know you in high school, you don't need to do that. Oh, and I will take it here and here. Even out the face. This concealer has really, really, really good coverage. Then I take like this triangular part and I kind of get it like right there so it doesn't really disturb the eyeshadow. And we'll just cut like that and then it'll really cut that line. Making sure there's no creases before we set. With that Wet n Wild Photofocus powder, I'm in the shade Nude Beige, but it's not Nude Beige, it's like a pinky undertone. Again, not my shade. I feel like everything I own is not my shade except for some of my high-end stuff where they shade match you. But sometimes at Sephora they don't shade match super well, you know what I mean? This powder is great for dry skin. I forgot to mention in the beginning that I do have dry skin, and this powder is amazing for dry skin. Okay, now to finish up the lower lash line, we're just gonna again take that crease shade, that's Sweet as Honey, with a smaller, fluffier brush. I'm gonna stamp it first on the outer V of the lower lash line and then drag it all the way in. And then I'm gonna take that same fluffy brush, take just a little bit of that, tap it off, and then just kind of keep this color right, like I'm just gonna take it all the way to my iris. And since I dragged it a little bit too far down, I'm just taking this white shade right here, bear in mind, just kind of going in underneath it. And I'm gonna take it a little bit here so I can soften that harsh line right there. And then taking this flat definer that we had before, taking that black shade, being very careful and keeping that, stamping it right on top of the lower lashes. Not going all the way to the tear duct, just to the iris. Just like that. I'm going in with that Sweetest Honey shade right here, and then gonna blend everything together. And I'm just gonna add the Lore'al Lash Paradise onto the bottom. Now moving on to the rest of the face. For bronzer, I'm gonna use this butter bronzer by Physcian's formula. It has maru butter in it. Maru. Oh, it smells like a tropical vacation. Smells so good. Smells like maru butter apparently. And I'm just lightly dusting this. I'm not gonna do any crazy contouring or anything like that. Just lightly bronzing the skin. I will probably bronze it a couple times because this is a very light bronzer. They have the light bronzer, like medium bronzer, and then deep bronzer, I think. What I like about the light one is that you can build it up, but you don't have to be afraid to put it on at first because you can just build it. I'm gonna do it a little bit more here. Squeeze it. A little bit on my jawline, just right underneath there. And then I do take it down the neck, not forgetting my nosy nose. Whatever bronzer I'm using for the day, I always use on my nose. I love some symmetry. Now you don't have to contour like this. Since I do have a widow's peak, I have to only do it kind of like here. So I don't want to hide this part, if that makes sense. And then what I've been told is you don't connect this part because then it just kind of makes your face rounded out. You want to just leave this part open so then it's like. For highlight today, I'm going to be using the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. Yes, it is that reflective on your face. I believe it's like $4.99, so the price is seriously good. This is perfect for prom because it's just like that beautiful lit from within glow. And I just take like this. If you don't want that Rudolph highlight, you don't have to do it, but I just love to do it. Especially with this highlighter, it's very forgiving. And I take my beauty sponge and I take the flat side and just kind of press it in. And for blush today, using the Beige Cosmetics Nude Blush Palette. I usually just take a mixture of these three shades right here. Perfect like nude shades, and they just go with anything. Why are you playing me like that? Sometimes if you go too ham with your blush, like I just did there, just take the sponge, press it in. For lips today, I'm going to be using the Healthy Lip by Physcian's formula, and it is in the shade All Natural Nude. I feel like it's just such a great nude color, and it is actually very, very comfortable. For me, I'd say if I'm not eating or drinking anything, then this can stay on for like 5 hours. Which, I mean, realistically, you're gonna be at prom for probably only a few hours, so this is your girl. Okay, you guys, unfortunately, I do not have setting spray. The one that I would use is the NYX Dewey Finish setting spray. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Complete dupe for the Tatcha Luminous Dewy setting spray, and it doesn't stay sticky for more than a few minutes. All right, guys, so this is my recreation of what I would have worn to prom, and hopefully you guys can recreate too at home if you are going to prom. Also, leave me a comment down below if you are going to prom and what color your dress is. Tag me on Instagram if you recreate this look. I would love to see it. Oh my gosh. I forgot to do my inner corners. That's a big no-no. There we go. I'm using the Essence Nude highlighter for my inner corners. I am gonna put just a little bit of it on top of the brow bone. But yeah, tag me on Instagram if you recreate this look. I would love to see. And yeah, I hope I'm not too late for prom season also. I know some people went in April. I know I went to my prom at like the end of May. Some people go in June. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys. Oh man, I forgot to line my lips. Hard to do my left eye. Like, I can't see. Then, oh no.